Good night, everyone. I hope that you can hear me clearly. All right, I'm seeing Shanique and Musically, Phillips, Ray J, Kelsey Ann rather, Gabriel, Rihanna. Are you guys able to hear me clearly? Let's just make sure that everything is up and running. Let's see. Hey man, Danya, how are you doing? Are you hearing me? Let's go with Danya. 876 Gaming, thank you. Love that. Let's go. Ha ha ha. All right, cool. All right, great. So let's quickly jump over here. Let's get to the matter at hand. We have completed book 1, book 2, and we're now going to look at book 3. After that, we have a book 4. All right. So let's see what's up with book 4. Again, this is the student camp book, ability test, and this is booklet 3. And of course, prepared by the curriculum unit of the Ministry of Education, Youth, and Information. All right. So we went through this in the previous books, so we have no real need here for this. Okay. Let's look at this. They talk about how we should use the book, and here let's go into this section that gives us some information now about the ability test. Let's go. The ability test is designed to assess students' ability to reason and process information. The test covers 2 broad areas: quantitative reasoning and verbal reasoning. Now, quantitative reasoning targets understanding and application of basic mathematical concepts. Verbal reasoning focuses on the analyzing of texts, words, and phrases to make determinations, make inferences, and draw conclusions. Let's look at this. The categories under each area are shown in the diagram below. So here we have the 2 broad areas of focus. We have the quantitative reasoning and we have the verbal reasoning. All right, let's look at the quantitative reasoning now. So representing or comparing quantities, estimation, approximation, patterns, data analysis, and problem solving. All of those fall under the quantitative reasoning side of the ability test. Now, on the verbal reasoning side of the ability test, we are going to have analogy, classification, essential part, sequencing, and we did these in book 1 already. Okay, defined analogy, we looked at classification, the essential part, and sequencing. Then we also have text completion, artificial language reading, and logical deduction. And we have gone through these already. Let's go further. So it says the ability test categories. The categories targeted in this booklet are explained below. Classification. Let me see. Brianna, could you read this section here about classification?
Good night, sir. Classification. Students are required to group various objects based on shared characteristics or relatedness or being part of a whole.
All right, reading now. Students are required to read for meaning at the literal and inferential level. Okay, so there are things that are going to be right there, literal, and then inferential, where you have to kind of read between the lines because it's more implied than it is what explicit. Okay, so the answers you'll have to think and search in order to get to them. Okay, when you're reading for meaning. Okay, let's look at this. Logical deductions. Given a conclusion, students are required to find a supporting premise, or given a set of premises, students are required to find the corresponding logical conclusion. Patterns. Tell me about patterns now, Brianna.
Patterns. Students are required to identify, generate, and describe patterns in a given sentence or to complete, extend a given sequence.
All right. So, for example, you may be given a set of numbers and you're asked to find what the next number is, or you might be asked to find what the eighth number is from where you are. So you'd have to extend the sequence. Okay. Now remember that when we're looking at sequence, there's always some underlying rule that is, allowing us to continue or to extend the particular sequence or pattern. Data analysis. Students are required to sort data based on characteristics, read, interpret, and make inferences from data presented in tables and or graphs. And last episode, we were looking at Mr. Brown's shoe shop, remember? And we said, boy, the size 7 shoes, for those persons who were not here, you can go back to our previous episode and look at what we were talking about. Cool. So understanding the statistics and how to analyze the data is important, because Mr. Brown, in analyzing the data in our last episode, was able to say, you know what, I am going to buy the size 7 shoes because those are the ones that are sold most often. Okay, let's go with this. Problem solving. Read this one for me again, Bruno.
Students are required to make sense of problems, reason abstractly and quantitatively, and use mathematical models to interpret and solve problems.
Thank you very much. So, one of the strategies that we like to promote is that whenever we get the scenario, the mathematical scenario, you get the background, you are going to change that information into some form of math sentence in order to make better sense of it, and to solve the problem. So sometimes you'll have to use a model. You might have to draw a diagram and put in different measures on the diagram. You might have to draw something to get the different shapes, whatever needs to be done, so that you can solve the problem. It says here, linking the skills in the ability test to the national standards curriculum. So what we're doing is actually based on the curriculum that you are using now. It says the NSC seeks to develop the process skills and science and engineering practices outlined below. Okay, so for this booklet, there will be a focus on the science part of it. And now remember that you would have been doing the CBT or the curriculum-based test. And also remember, ability can pull content. It can pull from anywhere the scenarios that will be used to draw logical conclusions or reading for meaning, to all of that. All right. So again, the NSC, the science NSC, seeks to develop the process skills and science and engineering practices outlined below. These skills are similar to the skills of focus of the ability test. Let's go with process skills. These include, very important, observing, communicating, measuring, classifying, predicting, interpreting, identifying and controlling variables, defining things operationally, formulating hypotheses, interpreting data, experimenting, and crafting or creating models rather. So again, here are some things about science and engineering practices important to us all, the next generation of scientists. Okay, so asking good questions, defining problems, developing and using models, planning and carrying out investigations. So the planning part of it. What is your thinking when you meet up on a problem? How do you plan to go about solving that problem? These are important skills for good scientists. Let's go with this one. Analyzing and interpreting data. So maybe you have done some observing. You're using like a survey, or you go out and ask some people some questions. When you get this information, how do you analyze it? How do you interpret it? Okay, using mathematics and computational thinking, constructing, explaining, or designing solutions, engaging in argument from evidence. So we're not just, as scientists, just get up and talk what we feel like, but to argue something from the point of view of evidence. Recently, I was listening to something and it says that we must follow the evidence wherever it goes. So, obtaining, evaluating, and communicating information. So, as good scientists, when we have done our investigations and so on, what do we do with the information? Can we communicate this information to others? What's the process involved in that? So, emphasis on developing skills, the skills components of the NSE will therefore prepare students to successfully manage the PEP ability test. So, for those of you who like science, what this is saying is being a good science student is going to help you to do well on PEP. All right, let's go here. Success criteria. It says, I know that I have learned when, and for science now, when we compare and classify items by placing them in correct groups. Classification. Read to obtain information. That's reading for meaning. Make inferences after reading a passage. Make logical deductions based on information given. Use information and make calculations and solve problems. Analyze and compare data in tables and graphs. Identify patterns in results. Use patterns in results to make predictions. So I see that this is happening over and over. What's going to happen next? All right. Use the data from investigations to draw conclusions. Verbal reasoning, section 1. Let's go with this. Here we have an item, the item type, verbal reasoning, the category, classification. What is the skill? To analyze, compare, and classify. Let's go with this. So it says here, let's go with this. Question 1. Which does not belong to the group? And the options are candle, flashlight, mirror, and sun. I'm going to throw this one to YouTube first. Okay. Skull Crusher. My, what a name. So Skull Crusher says, let's see if we can get Skull Crusher's comment. All right, well, this is not Skull Crusher. This is someone else. Let me see if I can get back to Skull Crusher. Thank you, though. That looks like, not certain if it's Watson Kelly, but let's go Skull Crusher. Skull Crusher says the mirror. All right. Let me see who else. Let's get some more responses here. Mirror says Abrahams. Let's go. Mason says the mirror. Lacia says the mirror. Eric says it's the mirror. Let me get some more people here. Gabi says it's the mirror. My question to you is, now that you have identified what it is, the answer is, why is it the mirror? Hold on. Let's see here. Heyman has a response. Let's go. Mirror, because it's not a light source. Good job. Let's look at this. Let me see, Nathan. Let me see if I can get any more here. Mirror because it's the only one that reflects light. Let's see if we can get Nathan here. Mirror. Others produce light. Ajani says the others, they give off light. All right, so you guys have that down pat. So again, candle produces light, so it's a luminous object. The flashlight, luminous object. The sun, luminous object, okay, or luminous heavenly body. The mirror, though, does not produce light by itself. It merely what? Reflects light. Okay. So if we were to use our science textbook, if we went back to page 98 and we were looking at the big question, what is light? We would know that some things are what? Luminous and some are illuminated. All right. So let's get Akelia. Let's see what Akelia says, because all the others are luminous. All right, cool, Akelia. Very good. Let's go to question 2. Question 2. Here's a tip. Try to find what is similar about the options. What groups could they be placed in? Choose the option that is different from the other. So that's a tip. Okay. Let's go with this one. Question 2, again, to our friends on YouTube. Which is the odd one out? So that means if we're going to use the tip, let's see if we can put them into groups, okay? Because remember that one of the skills here is to what? The category classification, to classify, to compare, to analyze. Those are the targeted skills, okay? So let's go here. Which one is the odd one out? Let's see. I see. JS90 says no, not that response. Let's go back to JS90. I think JS90 says not that response. Okay, let's go with Leonie. Leonie says melting butter. Kelly, melting some butter. Let's see any more here. Watson, melting butter. Let me go. Let me see. All right. Question. If it is that it is melting butter that is different, why is melting butter the odd one out? Why? Let's get a few responses where that is concerned. Let me see. The rest of them are some form of cooking. Nathan says, interesting here, because all of them result in making the object solid, and melting butter is making it liquid. Interesting response there. Thinking about states of matter. There. Let's go with this one. Melting butter is reversible, but the others aren't. Interesting. Let's think of this. So I'm going to take this one. So the rest of these, when I bake something, when I can't get back out the flour out of the cake and call it flour again. When the egg that was in there, I can get out back the egg. No. When I boil the egg, can I get it back to the state that it was before? Before, the egg was runny and it was soft and so on. After I boil the egg, there's nothing I can do to make it get runny again. Frying a sausage, it won't go back to what it was like before. But if I melt some butter and I take that butter and put it back in the fridge, for example, it can go back to the way it was before. So this question is really focusing in on changes that are reversible versus what? Changes that are not or irreversible. Now, irreversible changes produce things that are new and they can't go back to the way they were before. Let's give another example. I have a piece of paper. I want you guys to think about this. I have a piece of paper, right? And I take that paper and I tear it into pieces. Is that a reversible change or irreversible change? Let's see in the chat what we're saying here. Take the piece of paper. Uh, Suppose, you see, I take the piece of paper and I tape it up. Has the paper changed? No. But think about this. If I take that same piece of paper and I light the piece of paper, when I'm finished, what do I have left? Let's look for the answer in the chat. What do I have left when I light the paper and it burn? Good. Walker says I would have ash. There's nothing that I can do to the ash, chemically or physically, to get it to turn back into the paper. If I tear the paper, I still have paper, just changing the size, okay? And if I tape it up, I could get it maybe close to what it was like before, okay? So reversible and irreversible changes. So that section of the content for science, you guys need to look at that again. Question 3. Let's go with question 3. It says, which of the following does not? Yeah, so they make this word not big and bold and in capital letters. It means that we need to pay attention to this not. Okay. So which one does not belong in this group? We have corn, kidney beans, maybe we could say red peas, okay, lentils, and peanuts. Which one does not belong? Let's get some. I'm seeing here Marco J saying corn. Hold on. Let's go with Sterling. I saw Sterling with an answer just now. Chat is moving so fast. Let's go up and see if we can catch it. Oh, Sterling says because all the others are beans. I hear what you're saying, but we could use another term. Let's go with this. Let me see. Corn. Skull Crusher says corn. Heyman. Heyman. Let's go with Heyman's response here. So let's see if we can put this up. Corn, because the rest are in the legumes group. That's it. So all of these can be considered legumes, but corn does not fall into that group called legumes. So when you're looking at food groups and all of that, and you're thinking about your sources of protein and so on, we know that we can get protein from our what? Peas and beans and our legumes and so on. And we can get our proteins from our what? Like food from animals or milk and or meat and so on. Okay. So all of these, in terms of classification, we could put all of these under legumes, but corn we can't. Okay. All right. Thank you, Heyman, for that response. Let's see if we can pull this one down now and go to our next question. All right. Let's see. Question 4. So we go to another type of question. It says for item 4 and 5, again, this section, verbal reasoning, the category now is reading. And what is a targeted skill? To make determinations and inferences. All right. So here's a passage. Let's get our reader. Reader, Brianna, let's go. Read this for me, please.
Tomatoes, growing vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Tomatoes and peppers can be planted year long once sufficient moisture is available. The best method for planting these vegetables is by transplanting seeds that were planted in the seed trays or boxes. Tomatoes need lots of sun, rich loose soil, and lots of water. The roots, not the leaves, must be watered. Tomato plants grow very tall so they need to be tied to a pole or be staked.
Staked. All right. Now remember our um strategy again. We need to read it not once, we need to read it more than once. Okay, let's see. Um, so tomatoes and peppers can be planted year long once sufficient moisture is available. The best method for planting these vegetables is by transplanting seedlings that were planted in seed trays or boxes. Tomatoes need lots of sun, rich, loose soil, and lots of water. The roots, not the leaves, must be watered. Tomato plants grow very tall, so they need to be tied to a pole or be staked. All right. So if anybody, and right now the emphasis is on growing what we eat and eating what we grow. So a lot of people are into the backyard gardens now and so on, and tomatoes would and peppers would be some of those things that people would readily want to plant. Okay, save your money at the market. Now, it says, here's a tip. You need to read carefully to obtain details. Again, I'm going to say to you, we may not have the time to read through this passage 3 whole times now online, but when you are going to actually do your exam, please make sure that you do what? You read carefully to get the details. All right, so let's go. Statement here. Which statement gives the best conditions for growing tomatoes? Which one? A, tomatoes are planted by transplanting. B, tomatoes can be planted all year round, or all year long. Okay. Let's go again. Let's see. Tomatoes grow very tall and need to be tied. Is that a condition for growing? Or tomatoes need lots of sun and water? Let's see if we have any answers here. Let's see. Amarike says tomatoes. Yes, Amarike. Tomatoes need lots of sun and water. Now, this was item 4, but it says for item 4 and 5. So this one is going to be based on the same passage as well. A farmer uses a sprinkler system that sprays water high into the air to water his tomatoes. Which statement likely explain why the farmer should stop this practice? Hold on a second. Let me go back and make sure I read this thing to get it. Let me see. So let's take Amari K's answer there down. Tomatoes and peppers can be planted year long once sufficient moisture is available. They need moisture. The best method for planting these vegetables is by transplanting them, transplanting seedlings that were planted in the seed tray or boxes. They need lots of sun, they need rich loose soil, and they need lots of water. Okay. The roots, not the leaves, must be watered. Hold on, this one important. The roots, not the leaves, must be what? Let me go back and see what your question say. The farmer is using a sprinkler system that spray water high into the air. Hold on, go back up here so I look on. It says the roots and not the leaves, but roots not underground. So if you my water up in the air, the roots will not get no water. Hold on, they must be watered. The roots are not the leaves. Tomato plants grow very well. They need to be tied to a pole or to be staked. All right. So I've you know, gone ahead. I'm looking at the question and I'm looking back at the passage. Now I'm going to look at the responses, the options that are available to me to explain why the farmer needs to stop this practice. What practice does he need to stop? The practice of using a sprinkler system that sprays water high into the ear to water the tomatoes. All right, hold on. So tomatoes need rich, loose soil. Yeah, them need that, but him no need to stop that. If we stop giving them rich, loose soil, them not gonna grow good. Um, Only the leaves must be watered. No, they never said that. Only the roots must be watered. Tomatoes need to be tied to a pole. Um, what's the answer? Let's see. Let's see. Eric has a statement here. Let's see what Eric says. It's C. Most likely the leaves are getting wet and not the roots. Hmm. Good response, sir. All right, let's see. Any other? Let's see what Heyman has. Tomatoes should be watered at the roots and not the leaves. Well done. Thank you very much for that one. All right, good. Let's go. Question 6 and 7. Now, the type, verbal reasoning. We're continuing with that section of the ability test. The category now, logical deductions, targeted skills. You have to analyze and draw conclusions. Let's go. Here's a tip. Start by eliminating the statements that are way out. Look closely at the statements that remain, then choose the best ones that fit the information given. What do we call this again? We call this something in class. Our teachers say this in class. This is the uh, what is it again? Let me hear you.
The process of elimination.
The process of elimination. Let's go with this. All right, Tess. So you read for me item 6. Read it for me.
Yes, sir. All matter takes up space and has mass. All solids, liquids, and gases are matter. Therefore, all gases A cannot be seen and has mass. B has mass and takes up space. C can be seen and takes up space. D has no mass and takes up space.
What's your
So, sir,
answer?
I would say A.
A cannot be seen.
Yes, sir.
All gases cannot be seen. Hmm.
Well, sir, you can see smoke, so I
Ah,
would.
oh, okay, okay. All right, good. So your answer
So
should be what?
I would say can be seen and takes up space.
Not can be seen because some gases we don't see them, but all gases must have what? They must
Mass
have mass and
takes up
therefore
space.
and they have to take up space. Okay, so there are some gases that we don't see, but that doesn't mean they're not there, and it doesn't mean that they don't have mass or take up space. Okay, but we know that all of them, whether they're seen or not seen, they have mass and they take up space. Okay, all right, let's go with question 7. Let's go with question 7. Question 7 says the first two statements below that together prove that we need to find two statements that prove that Stephen attends science classes. Sorry, attends the science club. Okay. Um, Read through these from Brianna, and then tell me what you think the answer should be. Go ahead, Brianna.
Stephen attends science club. Number 1. Stephen's school has chess and science clubs. Number 2. Shana has science club with Jake. Number 3. Stephen's friend Jake attends chess and science clubs. Number 4. Number 4, yes. Number 5. Jake's sister Shana attends chess clubs with Steven.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yes, sir. My answer would be D, 3, and 4 because it says number 3 says Steven's friend Jake attends chess and science clubs. And number 4 says Steven and Jake are in the same clubs. So if Jake is in science club, it means that Steven also attends science club.
All right. Well done. All right. Thank you. So if they are in the same club, that means that they, have to be in the science club together. All right. Let's go with number 8. Again, verbal reasoning, category logical deductions. We need to analyze and draw conclusions. A class investigated the growth of plants under different environmental conditions. The results were placed in the table below. All right. So, as scientists, we like to use tables. We're not afraid of tables. We have to place our, information or findings in tables and so on to communicate them. So, this is what we have. We have, and remember, a table has what? It has columns that go vertically and rows that go horizontally. So let's go with this one. So we have one column named group, one column named plenty of light, and another column named amount of water, and another after 2 weeks. Let's go. So group 1 got plenty of light, a little water, and after 2 weeks, the plants were small and brown. Group 2 got plenty of light, plenty of water, and after 2 weeks, the plants were tall and green. After group 3 had a little light, but they got plenty of water, and the plants were very tall and pale yellow. Let's go with this again. So we're looking at the different conditions. So we have plants that are placed into 3 groups. In group 1, they get plenty of water, plenty of light, a little water, and after 2 weeks of this environmental condition, the plants were small and brown. But for group 2, they get plenty water, plenty light, plenty water, and the plants were tall and green. But you see, group 3, they got a little bit of light, plenty of water, and the plants were very tall and pale yellow. Let's see what we can think of now. It says, which statement is most likely true? All right. It says here, so as a tip, analyze the results in the table. Which statement supports these results? All right, let's look now. Plants grow best with plenty of light. Plants grow best with plenty of light. Plants grow best with plenty of light and water. Plants grow best with plenty of water. Water and light do not affect plant growth. Tess, what say you? Which ones, if we were going to eliminate, which ones could we throw out?
Yes, sir. I would say we could throw D
First one,
and then
we have to
D.
just take D and just fling him with one side. That one
Yes,
can't
sir.
work. Now,
A and C are true, but you yes, half of what you need is there, but the other half is not there. So I would go with
oh,
B
all
because you
right.
need both of them. Because in this light, I think they need sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
So a plant cannot grow without sunlight or water.
Um, Technically, you have plants that grow under light still. Yeah. Some
Yes, sir.
type of plants, they put them into special areas and grow them under special lights. So, that
Yes,
it
sir.
can
Like in the greenhouse.
very good. So, you have plants that can grow under lights, but regardless of whether it is the artificial light or it is sunlight, they still need light. All right, so
Yes,
B
sir.
would
And
be the
water.
best one. All right, very good. Let's continue with 9. In 9, again, we're looking at classification and logical deduction. And the targeted skills here, we want you to analyze and to classify. All right, let's go with this. This is an interesting one. The diagram below shows a key that is used to identify beans. Identify beans. All right, let's go with this. Now, we have beans, and beans can be divided into two groups. Some beans are round, and some beans are what? Come test. Some beans are round, some beans are.
Oval, sir.
If the beans are round, then they are what?
So if they are round, they would be garbanzo,
Gar-
garbanzo bean.
Very good. Now, the oval beans can come into two varieties. You can have some of them that are.
Not white and white.
All right. Now, if they are white beans, we can call them the white northern beans. If they are not white, then they can be spotted or they can be not spotted. Those that are not spotted can be what? Black, and we call those black beans. And then if they are not spotted, they could be red brown, and we call those kidney beans, kind of like our red peas. Okay. All right, let's go with this. Now we have looked at this. If they are spotted, what can we call them?
Pinto bean.
Oh, so the pinto bean is spotted. That means it is not white, and it is what? Oval in shape. You seeing that link?
Yes, sir.
We did a question in class earlier today with a kind of family tree, and we recognize how we can move through the branches to identify certain what? Connections. And it is the same thing here. We're making certain connections. All right. So let's go with this now. So let's see what is the best. Notice they're using the word best here. Description of a pinto bean. Let's look what they say we need to do. Analyze the diagram. So we're not just going to look at it one time. We have to go through the different things and look at the different relationships and the different connections between the elements there, right? What characteristics can be identified? Which is the most suitable group? All right, so let's look. Pinto bean, description, best description. Is it A, oval and spotted, oval not spotted, or is it round and spotted, or round and not spotted? So first of all, let's look which side it's going to fall on. Is it going to be a round one?
No, sir.
Not going to be round. All right, let's go again. So if it's not round, that means it is going to be what?
Oval.
So let me go back to my options now. So which two can I get rid of already?
So you can get rid of option C and D.
Because those say round and we know it's not round. All right, let's go down. Let's go back to this, down one level. We need to determine if it is white or not white. Let's see. Oval and spotted. All right, let's go. So, all right, if it is not white, then is it spotted or not spotted? The pinto bean is what?
Spotted, sir.
All right, so it is both spotted and what?
Oval.
Do we have that here?
Yes, sir. That would be option A.
Option A it is. Thank you. And I see a lot of people in the chat there getting that one as well. Number 10. Here's another one. Again, same thing, same setup. And this is question 10. The diagram below shows a key used to identify penguins. All right, let's see. Again, analyze the diagram. What characteristics can be identified? Which is the most suitable group? Let's go. So here, Does the penguin have tufts of feathers on its head? If yes, and it is shorter than 50 meters, and if that is shorter than, then we can call him the rock hopper penguin. But if it is yes that him have on the tufts on the head and is shorter than 50 meters and not shorter than 50 meters, then we can say these are the Snares Island penguins. However, if they don't have the tufts of feathers, um, let's think about if it has white marking on its face. If you don't have then any white markings, then it's the Adelaide penguin. All right, let's go. But if it has white markings, if it is taller than 70 centimeters, then we can say it's the yellow-eyed penguin. But if it is not taller than 70 meters, then it's the what? Galapagos penguin. See those connections? See how we have to follow these lines, look at the connections between them. So if it is yes, then what? If it is no, then what? And we follow that. Let's think about this now. They give us the penguin and we say this one is what measure? What do they say here?
So the measure is 45 centimeters.
All right, let us look at it again. Um, they give us measure here and measure there. Also, they talk about if it have white markings on the face. Hold on, let's go back. This has white markings on the face.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to the question then, because we have done our analysis. We have looked at this. We have looked at the penguin. We observed that it has white markings on the face. We have observed the height there, and we look at the information that is there. Let's see what the question says now. The, the penguin in the diagram is best described as a or an something. Is it a yellow-eyed penguin, a rock hopper, Galapagos penguin, or Adelaide penguin? Which is it based on what you're seeing? What say you?
Yes, sir. So since it is shorter than 50 centimeters, it is 45 centimeters,
Mm-hmm.
I would say it is a rockhopper penguin.
Interesting. Let's go with this. But the rock hopper penguin does not have markings on its face. So we can't put him over that side then. You see that?
Yes, sir.
So it can't be over this side. It can't be either the rock hopper or the Snares Island penguin. It can't be that one. It's either the Adelaide, the Galapagos, or the yellow-eyed. It has to be one of those because those penguins have white markings on the face. But let us go with this. Or they don't. Let's go. So here, if it has the white markings, then it is not the Adelaide penguin. It has to be one of these two. It's either no what? What are our options? What are we left with? We are left with the yellow-eyed or the Galapagos penguin. What is the thing that determines which one it is then?
If it is taller than 70 centimeters.
Hold on, let's go back to this now. Is it taller than 70 centimeters?
No, sir, it's shorter.
So if it is not taller than 70, we say no to this, then what penguin will it be?
The Galapagos penguin.
Excellent. Again, now we have to test the conditions based on the information that is there to see which side it will fall on. If first one, look at this, first one, yes or no. We don't see no tuft of feathers there. So if it is no, then it's going to be on this side. Then the next condition, does it have white markings? Yes. So if it have white markings, we have to continue down this branch. Then we get to this condition. This condition says no, is what? The height condition. If it is taller than 70 centimeters, then we follow the yes here. So, and if it is not taller than 70 meters, then we follow the no condition, this no line. Okay, so our answer here is going to be C. And there are several people who have gotten that. Let me see a few of them here. So Morgan has the answer there. Skull Crusher has the answer there. Morris answer there. Let's see. Sterling, yes. Morris again. Let's see some more. All right, good going, guys. All right, cool. So this was question 10. Let's go now. I think this is the last one for this section, and that's where we'll stop. Question 11. Let's get Brianna. This one, verbal reasoning again, logical deduction, and the targeted skill, we need to analyze and draw conclusions. The hint, analyze the diagram. Don't just look on it one time. Look on it up and down and crossway diagonally. Look at it carefully. Does the diagram support each of the statements? Let's look. So tell me about this diagram. Read for me.
Yes, I'm seeing now. The diagram below shows some students on a seesaw. Use it to answer item 11.
So who are these people on this seesaw?
Joe, Mary, Sam, Mary.
All right. Is there anything similar between both of them?
Yes, sir. Mary is heavier on both of it.
Oh, so Mary is heavier than Joe, and Mary is also, I want to say Maria, and Mary is also heavier than Sam. All right, so let's go with this now. Which statement does the diagram most likely support? What are your options, Brianna?
Joe is heavier than Mary. Mary is the heaviest. Sam is the lightest. Sam is heavier than Mary.
Hold on, let me start with this. Joe is heavier than Mary. Let me go up here. So Joe heavier than Mary, and Joe the nice sky, and Mary is on the, and also gravity work. No. So this is saying that Mary is actually heavier. All right, so that means that A, we have to get rid of A. Let's look at D. Sam is heavier than Mary. Sam heavier than Mary. No. Sam is the lightest. Would have to start getting into some science now to talk about which one is closer to the what? The fulcrum or the pivot point to determine whether Sam or Joe is what? Heavier. Okay? But beyond that, we know that all of this does not change the fact that Mary is the heaviest. Right? So if you go to high school and your physics teachers begin to talk now, they can say, well, if this one is closer to the edge here versus this one that is closer to the fulcrum, what that will mean in terms of balance and all of that. But that does not change the fact that Maria is, again, I want to say Maria, that Mary is still heavier than both Joe and Sam. All right? All right. So reflection is a very important tool as you prepare for your exams. It says, answer the questions below as honestly as you can. And you're going to, think about this. What aspect of this part of the thing you found most challenging? Think about that. Which tasks were the easiest? Which verbal reasoning categories do you need further help with? You have to reach out to your teachers. I can do what? This is a self-check now. I can compare and classify things by placing them into the correct groups. Is that a yes, not sure, or a not yet? Don't mean that you can't do it, Maybe you just can't do it yet. Me not so sure. Or yeah, man, me good. Read to obtain information. Are you able to read for meaning? Maybe not yet. Not sure. Or yeah, man, me good, me good. Make inferences after reading a passage. This means that the answer you have to think and search. Maybe me not so good on it, Maybe not yet. Or maybe I'm just good. Make logical deductions based on information given. All right, guys. So we need to think about these things, reflect on what? Reflect on the work done and prepare ourselves as best as possible. All right, give me a second. Let me get this for you here. The other day, I'm going to ask all of the people who are tuned in now, please give this video a like right now so that we can get it to be shared with as many people as possible. We want people to, see the information that is out there and to help them to prepare for their exams as well. Okay, so give it a like, and as soon as we're done, we want you to share this information with someone else. Share it with a friend. Try to make sure that they also are getting something that will help them to prepare. We had sent out a link the other day. We want to create our own little quiz. I'm going to drop the link here. Let me drop this here. So that Google form, I just dropped it there. If you click on it, you can submit your own question. Okay, so I want you, challenge to you, make up a PEP question, submit that PEP question, and I will try to put a quiz together. And then one of the evenings closer to exam, we're going to do what? We're going to use the questions that you have created, and we're going to make one big quiz, and then we're going to see who is the champion of champions. All right, guys? So I have gotten a couple questions already. Okay, some of them look rather interesting. I can't wait to get more. So I want you guys to, put some more together, send them in so that we can build a nice big quiz so that we can enjoy ourselves playing that game. We can play it in teams or we can play it as individuals. All right. So I really want to do that. I'm looking forward to the questions that you will send in. That's it for this episode. In our next episode, we're going to move on to section 2, which looks at quantitative reasoning. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Take care, and I'll see you in our next episode.
Hi.